Hello everybody, this is Pete Argleo here, back with another replay commentary. This time I'm playing Sylas in the mid lane versus a Graves. Now this matchup can be quite rough. He does a lot of damage just with auto attacks. He pushes the wave very quickly. It's very hard to trade on him with smokescreen. And if you want to make it out of the laning phase with enough gold to be able to do anything, you're going to have to learn how to farm under tower, because that's where you'll be most of the time. Now, one thing I really like to do before I really get started in a match is I like to analyze my own team comp, and I like to analyze the enemy team comp, and I like to determine what is my role going to be in this game. Because Sylas is very flexible in what he can do, thanks to his ult. And so you can range from either being an assassin that dives, carries, you can be a frontliner, you can be an extra support for your ADC if you need to be. So for this game, I looked and I saw, okay, I have an Ivern jungle, I have a Set and a Nautilus and a Samira. So our team comp is very heavy on going in, and Ivern is going to keep us alive when we do go in. I look at the enemy team comp and I see Tryndamere ult, Diana ult, Taric ult, and I know, okay, this game I want to take Diana ult, I want to go in with Ivern shield, I want to hit a bunch of them with the ult. Should be a free team fight. Tryndamere ult's also an option. I can go in with the Ivern shield, hold the Tryndamere ult. Once they start to burst me down, use the Tryndamere ult, and I'm even more durable. Stall time for my Samira to get her ult up. And overall, just make basically any team fight a stomp. As you see, second wave is already pushed under my tower. Using my passive stacks pretty effectively, getting a decent amount of the CS. I did start Doran's Ring. That does help with the CS. I got 10 out of 12 of the first two waves. Q start definitely helps with that. So you don't get poked out going for the first wave, especially. Overall, there's not really much to do in this lane. I would basically never recommend actually engaging on Graves unless you have jungle backup, or you know that you can win a fight because he's already pretty low, maybe from a previous gank. He'll usually win pretty much every single trade, and smokescreen just makes it very hard to be able to do anything. I did go for a short trade there just because I wanted to get that minion. This Graves is ending up taking a lot of my Q poke. So eventually, if he does get himself whittled down enough just from taking all this poke when I'm trying to CS, an all-in is possible, but still a bit difficult. Now, as I've noticed this game, my jungler is playing very heavy towards the bot side of the map. So I understand I'm not really the focus of this game, at least I haven't been so far. And so my job is just to farm, just like that. Let the wave push under tower where it's safe to farm, and grab the wave like that. The passive stacks plus the Q AoE damage can be combined to effectively last hit pretty much every minion. There are some that are unavoidable to miss, but definitely you can get a lot of CS under turret. if you're used to the damage that on your abilities and your passive. Now, I do notice Diana's in the jungle. If you try to invade the Ivern, and this is a free kill. She's only level 5, I'm level 6. I get her ult. I have level 3 W. I do way more damage than she can deal with. Then because I have the Diana ult, I'm actually able to go in on the Graves here. And that's another kill. Ivern Shield definitely helps there. The Graves did end up teleporting back to lane. Fortunately, I'm not really able to push that wave out. I do have to cut my losses and just go back. He could have tried to freeze it, but I don't think he did. And he does come and stop my back as well, so I'm even more delayed. Fortunately, my team's trying to fight in the river currently. I'm not able to help at all. I have no health and no mana. You shouldn't try and help your team out like this when you have absolutely nothing to do, because the best I can do in a fight like that is walk up and press W, auto once, and that's all I have. Maybe I get a kill out of it, and I get a Presence of Mind proc, and I get some more mana, and I can cast more abilities, but it's just not worth it. My team does end up winning anyway. Samira is pretty strong from the early ganks that she received. So, on that first back, I bought Lost Chapter, Amp Tome, and Ruby Crystal building into Everfrost. I do prefer to go the Amp Tome plus the Ruby Crystal over the Kindle Gem. The Kindle Gem does give the extra ability haste, but I just like going as much damage as possible. Now, my team comes mid there, doesn't really do anything. That's fine. I'm using my Q to face check there because I figure maybe the enemy support's there, maybe the Diana's there. We don't have vision of any of them, so it's really hard to tell. But we do see them on Rift, so I am kind of sprinting up here just to try and stop them. I'm pinging my team really hard to fight this because I really wanted to fight this, but they kind of backed off. Fortunately, I'm able to go in on the Graves. He mispositions pretty poorly. My team actually does help me follow up. So, don't be afraid to go in on plays that you know you hard win. Like, the Ivern, the Set, and I would have easily won a 3v3 there, especially because I could have taken Trinimir ult. So, I'm not at all afraid of doing anything like that. I do fight a little bit with the Diana in the mid lane. Nothing really happens from it. Do be careful. She did red smite me, so that negated a lot of my damage, and I also took some extra from that. Don't forget that junglers do have that available to them. I go back here. I think I'm sitting on 1600 gold before then. I get my Everfrost. I get Sorcerer Shoes. Control Ward. I'd like to get a Control Ward pretty much every back that I can, as long as I don't already have one in my inventory. I like to Control Ward the bot mid bush. You can see on the mini map there's already one in there. I believe I did put that there. I just feel like it provides a lot of vision from the enemy support roaming. It makes sure that your team can be there safely. Now, I did try to roam up top. There was a fight. Unfortunately, nothing really happens from it. I see Trinimir's kind of hard pushing the wave, so I just go and take it. And I see sets coming top. I don't really want to stay top, so I just head back mid after taking that wave. I do want to be towards the bot side of the map, just because I know that my team is sort of itching for a fight in the river.
Shut down.
I got a clean combo off from the Diana. Again, I'm not afraid to go in here because I know I have an Ivern. I know I have Trinimir ult. Get the instant flash W. That is a really, really powerful mechanic on Sylas. His W has no cast time. The only delay that it has is the delay between when you cast it and you actually reach them if you're casting it from a range. But if you're casting it in melee range, it will instantly go off. And so if you flash W, it is an instant damage plus heal. And you can even do it from super far away for like a 900 range gap closer. And yeah, the flash W is just useful in so many situations. If you're super low health, you can use it to surprise the enemy by getting a heal when they might not realize that you could do it that fast. You can also use it to gap close like about 900 distance.
Turret plating will soon fall.
So at this point, I'm heading bot to stop, or to match the Graves, get some farm. Normally, you'd want to rotate with your bot lane when the first bot tower falls, but it also sort of applies when, like turret plating falls. Because at this point, your bot lane doesn't really want to stay bot lane anymore. There's Rift Herald on the top side of the map. It's more useful for you to have two players in the middle than it is for you to have just yourself. Now, I already pushed in the wave. I'm waiting for him to take my wave, so I'm just sweeping the area, making sure there's nobody nearby. Fortunately, here I did get baited right before Dragon. Something I said in the last video was if your opponent is playing aggressive, you should expect that you might be getting baited. Unfortunately there, I just didn't think about it because the Graves had kind of been playing like that the entire game. There wasn't really anything super abnormal there. But I should have noticed that, okay, this guy's pushing up pretty far. Dragon's about to be up. We don't know where the Diana is. She could have been in bot bush. I just assumed she was somewhere else, and that was a bad play. My team does end up getting the Dragon, though, so it worked out, but that could have gone a lot worse. And at this point, I have needlessly large rod, so I'm about 2/3 of the way to Shadow Flame. I'm 5-1. I do a lot of damage.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
I stayed mid for a decent bit here instead of going bot, just because I knew that outer bot turret was going to be gone anyway. I'm 130 HP. There's not really any reason for me to walk through my jungle. I might as well let him take it because he's going to get it anyway by the time I get there. And then I'll just reset and head bot on spawn. Now, there I saw Graves and Trinimir trying to capitalize on my team, all being towards the top side of the map.
Double kill.
Fortunately, Graves did have the flash up. My Trinimir ult did save me for a bit, but Trinimir had his own ult up, so I didn't get the kill on that. I did stop them from taking the turret, however, so I'd say that was honestly a pretty worth trade. Especially because my team gets to push mid now.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
At this point, Set's bot lane. Set can split push a lot better than I can. I'm heading towards the top side of the map. I was actually going to take wolves here, but because I normally like to take a lot of jungle camps towards the middle of the game, but I kind of forgot I have an Ivern. When you have an Ivern, it's a bit different because Iverns like to take camps a lot. So I could have taken the wolves, but he might not have been very happy. Maybe he'd understand that it's better on me, but you know, I'd rather just be passive with that. Again, I had suspected that that was warded from when Tarek walked up before. I don't think he would have walked up and stood there. So I didn't try and do anything too exotic while I was suspecting that they had vision there. At this point, my team has 2 dragons. We have a really good team fight, so I'm kind of just staying with the team, making sure nothing goes wrong. If we can get a good engage off on them, then we can definitely just start snowballing even harder. And there, the Nautilus ult, even though she flashed over the wall, it just locked her down for so long that I was actually able to get over the wall and use the Diana ult to kill her.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Here, I do have to back even though my team is pushing, just because I need to be able to match the split push potential of Trinimir. Sylas, I find, is actually one of Trinimir's better counters. You can't fight him early game, so don't pick him top lane into Trinimir expecting to do well. But towards the mid game, you can take his ult and you do more burst damage than him, which forces him to use his ultimate before you use his ultimate. And if he's using his ult first, as long as you make sure that you use his ultimate and you don't troll, that gives you the upper hand. And with all the mobility that Sylas has, you can kind of catch up to him. Sometimes he can get away, but it's definitely one of the better 1v1s. Assuming he's not disgustingly fed. Now there, I did grief a bit. I figured they probably weren't doing Baron, but I wanted to make sure. And I queued the bush. It didn't hit anyone, so I figured it would be safe, but they were just hiding on the opposite side. So unfortunately, that did end poorly for me. I kind of got one shot, didn't have time to ult. I should have realized enemy team either couldn't do the Baron, or they did it slow enough to where I didn't have to rush that. And if I check the scoreboard, I mean, they have an Eclipse Callista. Trinimir does a lot of damage to Baron, but overall, it wasn't a threat that I needed to go for immediately. And there, enemy team overextended after Baron. I find a lot of people do this, even in Masters Elo. Once you get the Baron, most of the time you should just recall. It does depend on the situation. Like if all the enemies are dead and you were waiting for waves to push, so you just did Baron, then sure you can run it down mid. But chasing the enemy team after you get Baron and they're all respawned generally ends pretty poorly, as it did there. And knowing your limits, especially given the enemy ultimates and your team comp, can be very beneficial. Otherwise, you might have a lot of missed opportunities. Like if I had decided not to go in there, like if I just wanted to disengage, we might not have gotten the kill on the Diana and the Graves, but I knew I have an Ivern, I have a Diana ult, we can win this very hard. And that's just something that comes with a lot of games of experience. So here I'm just trying to side lane again. I wanted to go for the turret. It's their only outer turret left, but Trinimir is a bit scary with the Hullbreaker, so I do end up backing off. Most Trinimirs will not build magic resist, so they're easy to burst down, but since this guy had a lot of farm, he had 2.5 items, and the Hullbreaker just made me not want to risk anything. Now I'm following Trinimir mid lane. I did notice that he was roaming. And there was a very good fight. Catch the Callista as well. Trinimir decides to rage split for the rest of the game, so we just get to end the game here. Now in that last fight, I took Trinimir ult for a couple reasons. One, he was the first guy that I saw. Diana also would have worked. And let me just pause it here so it doesn't automatically end. Diana also would have worked, but Trinimir makes me feel pretty safe. He was the first guy that I really saw. I was closest to him at the start. And when I first go in, I like to do the E2 plus R combo to take someone's ultimate. Otherwise, I find it's kind of hard if you're not using it with your E2 in the middle of a fight. It's kind of awkward to get off. It does have a delay. So I took his ult then. Fortunately, the Taric had a large ultimate there, but we were able to outlast it, and then we kind of just steamrolled them. And again, I can just be completely fearless. I never needed to use Trinimir ultimate, but I'm able to run down the enemy team with no fear because I have it. And in the end, we do win the game. I ended up 11-3-2. Samira also did fairly well at 10-3. And yeah, if you like this video, uh, leave a comment, give some feedback would be greatly appreciated. And I hope that you enjoyed.